All right, everybody. Welcome to a sunny evening here at Suzuka. We're starting off with a qualifying session here, and your top three are Jake Moore, Christopher Tverin, sorry if I mispronounced that, and Gert Fischer. Again, sorry if I mispronounced that. Um, we're looking at times in the high 159s, and that is set by the number 91 Audi with Jake Moore. Interestingly enough, there's two Audis in the top three, so it seems that the Audi is the car to have right now. And here we see Anders Amundsen driving the Aston Martin. He's currently 4/10ths up on his best lap, so see some improvement from him. If he keeps the 4/10ths up, he will jump into fourth place and maybe third. That was a fast final corner for him, and but a bit of a slow exit. Crossing the line, he goes fourth fastest with a 2 minutes, 0 seconds, and 0 milliseconds. So perfect 2-minute time. Now we shift a little lower down the field. We're watching Samuel Kruger, who seems to be almost at an identical lap with only 2/10ths up, but still a gain nevertheless. Tim Kruger is currently in the Lamborghini, which seems to be quite a popular choice, with 4 cars driving the Lamborghini. He comes into the final chicane. He's currently 2/10ths up on the time. This exit is key. He seems to have gotten a good one. And he crosses the line to stay 13th, but still improve his lap time by a 10th of a second. Then we turn to Ross Hayden in the number 32 Bentley. He's currently almost near even to his last lap, which was a 2 minutes 1 second 0.8, and Bucher Florentin, who is in 17th ahead of him, is currently 1/10th faster than Hayden's best lap time. So Hayden is currently 1/10th up, and at this rate, he will just pip 17th from Bucher Florentin. And around the final corner, Hayden comes. And across the line, he goes and stays in 17th. Oh, he ended up having quite... I think his exit was not as good as his best laps exit, so he lost a bit of time there. Now we jump back up to the lead battle with Christopher Treinen. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. So him and Gert Fischer are equal on times, both with a 1 minute 59 second .847. However, Gert Fischer seems to have backed off on this lap attempt, but Christopher is still going. So qualifying is now over, and anyone who has not crossed the start-finish line yet will not be able to set another time. So this is the final attempt for Christopher to try and get that pole position. Chris is currently 3 tenths down on his best lap, but he seems to have been better under braking into this final chicane, and the exit is crucial here. Seems to have gotten a clean one, but was it fast is the question. He has slightly missed out on pole position there. Very unlucky, but it was a good attempt from him. We see Oscar Sandberg just crossed the line, and we turn to Kurt Moss finishing up his lap. And let's see where he ends up. He's currently less than a tenth behind the person in front of him, so we'll see how that goes. And he stays 13th, and he is the last person to cross the line. So your top 5 for the race on the grid are first, Jake Moore, second, Chris Tvernen, third, Gert Fischer, fourth, Anders Amundsen, 5, Oscar Sandberg. And just now we are currently waiting for the cars to form up on the grid. It seems that the Audis and the Aston Martins are the fastest cars, with Audi and Aston Martin locking up the front row together, and then another Audi and Aston Martin pair in the second row. Currently we have 3.5 minutes until session start. And the drivers are most likely making their last minute setup changes to adjust for the heavier fuel loads for the race. We have 38 cars racing on this race. And the top 3 are filled by 2 Audis, as I said earlier in qualifying. So the Audis seem to be very, very fast. However, we're not seeing any more Audis across the field, except for AJ in Sorry, in 22nd place. Oh, excuse me, not MJ. Sorry, Mad Al. He's in the number 4 car, and he is the third Audi car. He's starting in 22nd place. Two minutes and counting now left. It is sunny at Suzuka. Air temperature is 28 degrees Celsius, and the track is a nice and toasty 36 degrees Celsius. So that may come into play with tire degradation. However, it will give the drivers a bit more grip. So here we see the track map of Suzuka. Turn 1 is quite interesting as it is a tightening corner. We will see, I think, quite a lot of side-by-side action, especially in lap 1. And through the S's, the cars may start to get into single file to be able to make the corners. However, some brave drivers may try and hold it side by side through there. We have 15 seconds until sessions start. 10 seconds in counting now. Okay, so the session has started, and we're going to start the formation lap now. We follow our leader, Jake Moore, on the formation lap. So he is in the number 91 BWT liveried Audi. Behind him is Christopher Tvernin in the number 58. Behind Chris is Gert Fischer in the number 78 car. In 4th place is the number 72 car driven by Anders Amundsen. In 5th place is the number 109 car driven by Oscar Sandberg. 6th place, the number 37 car driven by Eric Liguro. 7th place, the number 55 car driven by Philip Barley. In 8th, the number 34 car driven by RWB Godzilla. In 9th place, the number 29 car driven by Sergio R. Lemke. And in 10th place, the number 12 car driven by Albert Arjona. That is your top 10 on the grid for today's race. Interestingly, Albert Arjona is the only Porsche in the top 10 and one of 2 Porsches in the top 20. So we'll see how the rare car choice pans out for him. Another rare car is the Nissan, driven by RWB Godzilla, which is not driven by anyone except him in the top 23. So that's even more different to the Albert Arjona's pick of the Porsche. So we'll see how that turns out for our RWB Godzilla. And here we see Christopher Tvernen closely following Jake Moore. So we're looking to see Moore and Tvernen have quite a close fight into turn 1 and beyond, actually. So you hear them getting side by side, ready for the start. These drivers are rearranging themselves. And the race is underway. Nearly. So we'll wait until they cross the line, and then we'll be started. And we are underway. So Tveren did not get the best start, and the two Audis have gotten the best starts, actually. And Flacker moves in, or Fisher, sorry, moves into defend. No, that's a tap. That's a tap on Tver by another Aston Martin teammate of his. So now we're following Gert Fischer, who is being put under pressure by the Bentley. By the Bentley of Sandberg, Oscar Sandberg. So the top 5 cars have pulled away, and let's look a little farther down the field to Truy Solberg, who is in the Aston Martin. He is closely following RWB Godzilla. Or sorry, my mistake. Mr. Git is in the Aston Martin, and he is following RWB Godzilla closely. And Godzilla is currently following Lemke in the Lamborghini. Currently side by side are Godzilla and Git, and Godzilla managed to hold the inside, but Git is coming back around, but Godzilla holds the position. But now Mr. Git is being attacked by Solberg, who is on his inside, which seems to be the preferable line into turn 1. However, Git seems to have been a bit later on the brakes. However, Solberg gets back at him anyways. So that is Solberg overtaking Mr. Git for 7th place. Jumping up to the front of the grid, Sandberg is currently following Moore very, very closely. We'll see how this battle evolves over the course of the race. Now we can look to Solberg, who is looking to pressurize RWB Godzilla. He's just not close enough to make that lunge into the hairpin. However, if he gets a good exit here, he might have a chance into the next corner. And Godzilla and Mr. Git are currently, or sorry, Godzilla and Solberg are currently catching up to Lemke. And this battle for P5 is going to become quite interesting. And it's starting to rope in P4 as well, as Lemke is currently 0.8 of a second away from Varley. Now, Git and Solberg seem to be having quite a good battle here. And Git is going for the offensive. That's turn 1, and if Git can follow Solberg well to the S's, he will have a great chance into the double right-handers. You're right on board with Mr. Git, and that's a lot of oversteer from Solberg, which allows Git to get a lot closer, however, not close enough to overtake him. Still too far away to make the lunge, but he does anyway. However, Solberg defends well and manages to keep him behind. We flip back to the lead battle, where we see Oscar Sandberg very, very close behind Jake Moore. And he's got a great opportunity with a great toe. And he seems to have gotten him. He has overtaken him, and Meguro is also going for the scraps, and Jake Moore is down into third. I wonder if he's had an issue. He seems to be going quite slowly. And he's pulled over to the side of the road. Jake Moore has had an issue. He seems to have fixed it, though, because he's rejoining the track. Jake Moore is back in what seems to be 6th or 7th place. But Godzilla and Jake Moore are very, very close together, as well as Lemke. Sorry, Lemke and Godzilla are very, very close. However, a bit too far away to have any real challenges for position. But Anders Amundsen, Solberg, and Mr. Git are all very, very close to each other. And Amundsen goes for the move on Solberg, and ooh, that's a touch. That's a touch that sends Amundsen off the track. He rejoins, and in front of Ayo and in front of Trebek, actually, sorry. So he is currently in 9th place, where we still have a pretty close-fought battle between Solberg and Mr. Git. Oh, that's contact. That is contact between the two of them. That's just a replay of him rejoining the track. So now we see that Solberg is 0.4 in front of Jake Moore, actually. So Jake Moore is coming back up the field. Jake Moore currently pressuring him quite heavily. And let's see if he can get a good exit. He has gotten a good exit, but Solberg has gotten a better one. Let's see if Jake Moore can challenge into the chicane. This is a great opportunity for overtaking. However, Jake Moore is not close enough to fully take advantage of it. But he has gotten a great exit, and he's currently glued to the back of Solberg. The great toe. We're right on board with Jake Moore. Was a little too far back to challenge right now, so he backs out. And that's a big slide from Solberg, which Jake Moore takes advantage of. They come very, very close to touching there, but both drivers manage to stay away from each other. Currently, RWB Godzilla, Mr. Git, and Dami Io are all within 0.7 of a second of each other. And more specifically, Io and Git are quite close. Or sorry, Io and Amundsen, and Mr. Git is quite up ahead, and Godzilla is 5 seconds ahead of this group. Now, Simon Trebek is looking to join the group, and he is 1.2 seconds off of Amundsen, who is at the rearward portion of this group. Now we see Lemke defending against RWB Godzilla. So let's see if they can get an overtake done into the chicane. Lemke seems to have been able to keep more momentum up than Godzilla, so Lemke keeps the position. Going back to the Git, Io, and Amundsen fight, we see Io going quite slowly, and Amundsen getting past him. Jake Moore is currently coming up to the back of this group, looking to recover from his previous issue. Here we are on board with Jake Moore. Seems to have a tighter line through the S's, and I think that is going to help him because he gets past Io. Not quite. Oh, and they touch, but not too severe. However, Moore switches sides, and they are side by side. However, Moore completes the overtake into the first right-hander. So that was a very, very good racing from the both of them, and Moore has completed a nice overtake. He's now got his sights set on Simon Trebek and looking to advance farther up the field. We flip to Sergio Lemke defending against RWB Godzilla. RWB Godzilla is currently 0.4 of a second behind Lemke, so not close enough to challenge in the chicane. However, someone who is close enough to challenge is Amundsen on Mr. Git. We're very, very close, but not close enough for the chicane once again. However, Amundsen, if he gets a good exit, could have a good opportunity into turn 1. He has gotten a good exit, but Git has managed to match it, so they seem to be going even into turn 1. Both these drivers in the Aston Martin, which seems to be a popular choice across the field. So that's contact for them, and Git goes a little bit on the grass, but still stays ahead of Amundsen. And now Trebek is looking to challenge Amundsen for that 7th position. And Jake Moore is already on the back of them, so the 4 of them go into the 90-degree right-handers. No position change so far from the S's. However, Jake Moore is very, very close on the rear of Trebek, looking for a move into the hairpin, but not quite getting there. And Trebek goes a little bit wide, which Jake Moore takes full advantage of and passes up into 8th place. And now Amundsen and Mr. Git are they're side by side actually, going to the very fast left-hander. Let's see if one of them backs off. None of them back off, and Amundsen manages to pull off a clean overtake. However, that slows Mr. Git down, and Jake Moore is looking for an overtake into the chicane. Pops his nose in there, and he's holding it on the outside. However, Mr. Git manages to defend against it. So here we see Jake Moore attempting to attack Mr. Git. And Mr. Git is going a bit wide there, and Jake Moore takes advantage of that once again, but has to back out for the S's, as they would lose too much time by going side by side. So they're currently single file, and Amundsen has made a 1.2 second gap to Mr. Git and the rest of the group. Up down farther down the field, we have Damien WILK, Samuel Kruger, and Miko Sky fighting for 13th place. Closer to the top of the field, Jake Moore and Simon Trebek are getting quite close. And actually, Jake Moore has gotten past Mr. Git. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. So we see Jake Moore following closely behind Mr. Git. Jake Moore breaks quite a bit earlier, and yes, there it is. Mr. Git goes very wide, and Jake Moore takes advantage of it. And now Jake Moore is up into 7th place and looking to hunt down Amundsen next. Flip back to the live feed, and if we pop down field back to Samuel Kruger, he is very, very close to Bucher, Florentin, and Damien WILK. We go farther down the field to see Albin Renberg and Mats Sjöblom seem to be fighting, and there it is. Renberg has gotten past Nico Perez. Nico Perez is in the BMW, and Renberg is in the Ferrari. Mr. Git currently being pressured by Trebek. This seems to be a group that is recurring in their action. So we are currently seeing Mr. Git ahead of Simon Trebek, and they are currently too far apart for Simon Trebek to be able to mount a challenge into turn 1. Further down the field, the fight for 22nd place between Carlo Denise, Tristan Ferguson, and Eddie Warden, also including Martin Pater and a little bit of Matt Al. So this group of 4 cars have a lot of them very close together, so we'll see how this pans out. One of them can get a good exit here. Maybe, just maybe, they might be able to go for a double overtake. The cars are so close together. However, none of them, or all of them, get equal exits. So, no action as of yet for this group. And now we see Warden. Oh, Warden's gone wide. Warden has gone wide, and the 2 Bentleys of Ferguson and Nis are currently very, very close together. Ferguson gets past Carlo Denise. Flipping back up to the top of the grid, we have a challenge for the lead between... Oh. No, we do not. My apologies. The timing screen seems to have been wrong. However, RWB Godzilla and Lemke are quite close. And speaking of quite close, the midfield pack battle for 11th place is also quite close. It seems to be that everyone has spread themselves out, except for the battle for 19th place. The battle for 18th place, which has seen Xavier Eugeni and Troy Solberg swap positions. Flip back up to the battle for 8th place between Mr. Git and Simon Trebek. So Simon Trebek still trying to get past Mr. Git. And Jake Moore has pulled a 4-second gap to this group and is currently trying to hunt down Anders Amundsen a bit further down the road. Here we can see Io trying to mount a challenge against Trebek. He's got quite close in the toe, and if Io can get a better exit out of this turn than Trebek, then he'll be golden. Which has happened as Trebek goes wide, however, Io is not close enough to fully exploit that mistake by Trebek. Up to Mr. Git. Actually, Ross Hain or Demi Io. He is in the number 112 Bentley. So his teammate, Simon Trebek, is ahead of him, and his other teammate, Hayden, is in the number 82 Bentley, about 7 seconds behind. We flip up to the podium positions. Eric Maguro and Philip Varley and Sergio Lemke are all quite close. Maguro in the Aston Martin, Varley in the McLaren, and Lemke in the Lamborghini. It's a nice variety of cars. And Lemke seems to have gone a little bit wide, so he's going to have lost some time to Varley there. Mr. Gitt, however, is now once again under pressure from Simon Trebek, as we have seen many times during this race. However, Simon Trebek is especially close this time, and he'll have a nice tow going into this corner. If Simon Trebek can manage to stay alongside him for the chicane, he may be able to mount an overtake. However, he backs out, and Mr. Gitt gets to keep the position and comfortably goes into the chicane. However, Io has now once again caught up to the pair. He was about 1.5 seconds behind, and now he is only around 0.8. We're currently on lap 13, with 5 minutes to go in this race. And your top 5 are Oscar Sandberg in first, Eric Maguro in second, Philip Varley in third, Sergio Lemke in fourth, and Godzilla in fifth. In 24th place, or 34th, sorry, in the McLaren, making his way around turn 1. We see Albin Renberg in the Ferrari, 26th place. We saw him fighting Solberg a few minutes ago. We see RWB Charger with Carlos Denise just behind him, 0.3 behind him. The Lamborghini has decided, or sorry, it is not Denise behind him, it is actually Harry Hottie. So Hottie in the Lamborghini is currently very close behind, but we're not close enough to try and challenge into the hairpin. Flipping up just a bit, we see Chris Brook defending against Xavier Eugeni. There's 0.3 behind him. We may see Eugeni go for overtake here, if he gets a good exit, which they both have. The most important part is not getting a good exit, I guess. It is your opponent making some kind of mistake, be it a small one or a big one. See Simon Trebek once again attacking Mr. Gitt. However, they are much closer together, and Simon Trebek is starting to get a whiff of being side by side. However, he clips the grass and loses a bit of time there. Closely following behind is Ao watching this, and Simon Trebek gets a little loose on the exit there of the curb. However, Io is not close enough, once again, to take advantage of that mistake. It was good of Trebek to hold that, and we can see the replay action once again. That is Simon Trebek holding his position and getting quite close to Mr. Git. So Mr. Git and Simon Trebek getting almost identical exits. However, Trebek has the draft behind Mr. Git. We will see if he can mount a challenge where he couldn't the lap. So Io has made a mistake on the exit, I think there. He's ran a bit wide. That leaves Trebek free to not worry about being challenged or overtaken, so he does not have to defend and can solely focus on Mr. Git. Here we see Ross Hayden actually close by with Samuel Kruger, who is followed by Damien WILK. Here we see Chris Brook and Joshua Barton. Where is Joshua Barton? Joshua Barton is 7 seconds behind. And Emil's Joel Blum is 4.5 seconds of Chris Brook. Miko Sky and Kurt Moss looking to have a battle. Not quite close enough to have one yet. In the battle we know all too well between Mr. Git and Simon Trebek. Simon Trebek is within 0.2 once again. However, even 0.2 of a second does not seem to be close enough. However, Simon Trebek seems to have gotten a better exit out of the first section of this turn. Better mid-corner, and the exits are identical. However, Simon Trebek is a little bit closer now than he was before. And let's see if the third time is the charm. Here's that third time is not the charm. Io is actually getting quite close to Simon Trebek once again. And currently, the race is going to finish now, so looking across the line in P8 is Mr. Git, and a very good performance. Jay Moore in 7th, your winner. See the replay of crossing the line is Oscar Sandberg. So this is him crossing the line just now. And then behind him in second place is Eric Maguro. And behind Eric Maguro, close followed behind is Philip Varley. And behind them is Sergio Lemke. And then behind that, Godzilla. And then Anders Amundsen. So an exciting race unfolded. Your top 10 are Oscar Sandberg, Eric Maguro, Philip Varley, Sergio Lemke, Godzilla, Anders Amundsen, Jake Moore, Mr. Git, Simon Trebek, Dami Io, Ross Hayden, and that is your top 11. So Jake Moore recovering from a mishap. Still don't know what the issue was. However, he has fixed it, and he ended up rejoining the track in, I think, 12th or 13th place, if I recall correctly, and he has ended up finishing in 7th place. So gaining 5 or 6 positions there. So that's very, very good from him. So that is race 1 finished. And I'll see you at race 2. All right, everyone. Welcome to race 2. We've got 2 minutes and counting to go until the formation lap starts. And on pole position is the same starting grid as the first race. So I'll give you a rundown of the top 10. So we have Jake Moore in first position, Christopher Tverin in second place. In third place, we have Gert Fischer. Fourth place, we have Amundsen. Fifth place, Sandberg. Sixth place, Varley. And sixth place, Meguro. And then we have Godzilla in seventh, Lemke in eighth, Mr. Kid in ninth, and Arjona in 10th. So it's looking to be an exciting race. And a question for you guys. Who will win race 2? Personally, I think Jake Moore has quite a strong chance. It could be any of them. However, I think Jake Moore, in the previous race, race 1, he had an issue. He was leading the race comfortably. Well, not comfortably, but he had a good margin. But then he had an issue and had to pull off to the side of the road. He ended up returning in P12 and gained 5 positions to finish in 7th. So I think he's got quite a strong chance of winning here. However, the chances for Sandberg, he performed quite well in the first race. And he is starting 5th place. So he's looking quite strong. And Tverin, sorry. He's starting in 12th place, and he finished quite well in the previous race. He stayed 2nd. Or no, my apologies. The starting grid is not the same as the last race. It is. Let's just wait for it to update, and then I'll read it out to you guys. So Moore seems to have proven himself in coming back up to the field, so he's got quite a good chance. The previous winner of the race, the winner of last race, was a certain, may be mistaken, however, I think, if I remember correctly, the winner of the last race was Sandberg, Oscar Sandberg, may have been. So here we follow the pack. So your corrected top 10 starters are Christopher Tverin in first place. He has quite a good shot at winning, starting from pole position. In second place, Gert Fischer, who performed quite well in the last race. In third place, Anders Amundsen, who performed, I would say, very well in the last race. He started, I think, outside of the top 10. He ended up finishing in 6th place, so that is quite a solid performance from him. In 4th place, Oscar Sandberg, who won the last race, if I'm not mistaken, so he's got quite a lot of pace. 5th place, number 55, Philip Varley. And in 6th place, Eric Meguro in the number 37 car. In the number 34, 7th place, RWB Godzilla. And in 7th place, the number 29 car is Sergio Lemke. In 9th place is Albert Arjona in the number 12 car. And rounding out our top 10 is Truls Solberg. That is your top 10. And we're just waiting now for the grid to make their way to the starting grid. They're now slowing down to make their way around the final chicane to be able to line up on the starting grid. In the previous race, we saw a little bit of contact into turn one. We saw, I may be mistaken, but it may have been it was definitely one of the Aston Martins that got sent spinning on the outside of turn one. Let's hope we do not have another one of those incidents this race. However, it does make things more exciting. We are underway. The green flag has been waved, and Fisher gets a very good run on Tverason, and into turn one, Fisher is in the lead. Amundsen slots behind Fisher, and we have quite a lot of action. The track is a little bit darker now, so they have to turn on their flashlights, or sorry, not their flashlights, their headlights. The track is a lot cooler now, over 10 degrees cooler than the last race, so the drivers will have less grip and they'll have to adapt to the lower grip they have now. So we see Fisher currently leading the pack in front of Tveren, Sandberg, Amundsen, Farley, and Maguro. Those are your top six. If we jump a little further down the field, and jump to Samuel Kruger, who is looking to pressure Lemke. However, they're a bit too far apart. A bit farther ahead, we have just seen Solberg go a little bit wide, and he's lost a position to Godzilla. Two Nissans running in 6th and 7th. It's a solid result for the Nissan team. And here we see Lemke 2/10 behind Kurt Moss, and behind them is Kruger trying to pressure Moss. So Lemke is currently attempting to pressure Stelberg. However, he is not managing to get close enough to the Nissan ahead of him. Now we see Trebek attacking Io. These two were battling it out almost the entire second half of the first race. So we'll see what they've learned from each other and how each other drives. Currently, Io is ahead of Trebek, which is the opposite of what happened last race. So now we see Io pressuring Arjona. And jumping back up to the battle for the lead, Christopher Tveren is 3/10 behind Gert Fischer. So Tveren is hungry for that lead after he lost it in turn one. So he'll be looking to get that back, and he'll want it very, very badly. So closely following behind Fischer is Tveren. Behind him, Amundsen, who has gotten back past Sandberg. Currently, Philip Varley is being not attacked by Eric Maguro. One behind him, however, RWB Godzilla is being quite heavily pressured by his teammate, Solberg. Let's flip a little farther down the grid. Here we see two Lamborghini. Oh, that's someone wide into the gravel. So here we see Sjoblom and Sky ahead of Renberg, and behind Renberg is Rossolini. So looking at the number 1 car of Miko Sky, currently leading the pack and is currently in P18. A little farther up, Damien WILK is looking to pressure IO. Simon Trebek seems to have lost a fair amount of positions. However, he's looking to gain them back. Looking to overtake Ross Hayden, which is to go around the outside for this very, very fast left-hand corner. Generally, the one on the inside tends to win this corner. However, the one on the outside has won this time. So Simon Trebek gets ahead of Ross Hayden. Hayden seems to have backed off a little too much, which results in the Ferrari of Eugenie getting past him as well. So Simon Trebek up into 12th place, Eugenie up into 13th, and Hayden down into 14th place. Now we flip to Damien WILK, who's 3/10 behind Io, according to the timing. However, it's more like he is 3/10 ahead of his teammate in the Lamborghini, Samuel Kruger. So currently under 2/10 behind him, Samuel Kruger in the number 21 car. Or sorry, Samuel Kruger in the number 77 car is looking to attack Damien WILK in the number 21 car. So both Lamborghinis looking quite strong. But two pairs of the same manufacturer who are looking even stronger are the pair of Aston Martins. Oh, yes, sorry. The pair of Aston Martins of Amundsen and Varen, who are running in 2nd and 3rd places. That's a double podium for Aston Martin. And Varen is looking to pressure Gert Fischer. So we'll be following this for quite a bit now, because this battle between the two will most likely last the entire race, just as the midfield battle between Mr. Git and the others during race 1 went. So looking up and down the field, we can see that some drivers are very, very close to one another, namely being Samuel Kruger and Damien WILK, both Lamborghinis. Flipping once again back to them. They're looking quite close. And Arjona in the Porsche is also ahead of them. So this battle is looking quite close between 8th place all the way down to 11th place. Actually extending down to 12th place. So from 12th to 8th is 6 cars, sorry. No, 5 cars it is. So it's quite a lot of cars, very close together. So you've now got nearly 20 minutes left of the race, of the second race. And with 1/3 completed, the field is still very close, or the groups of them at least are. It's a lot of little groups, very close to each other. Look at the number 69 car, RWB Charger, currently leading Kurt Moss in the number 823 car. RWB Charger opting for the Lexus car, and Kurt Moss opting for the Aston Martin. Aston Martin seems to be quite popular at the top of the field, and nearing the middle slash... Oh! And that's RWB Charger going deep on the brakes. So that allows Kurt Moss to get past him. The number 69 car is now in 27th place. Currently Martin Potter behind Prem Rossellini. Heading this group is Mats Joblum. So this group of 4 cars were very close together. We go up to Mats Joblum. My mistake. Eddie Warden is the leader of this pack. So the battle for 20th place is what we're seeing right now. Top 2 very close. Gert Fischer and Chris Dverin, closer than ever before, into the chicane. Amundsen also joining in on the fun there. For the most part, they are following each other and being extremely consistent. None of them have made any major mistakes so far. So none of them have been able to pass each other. Flipping down to Simon Trebek. Him and his group, actually Simon Kruger ahead of him, is looking to challenge his Lamborghini teammate, Damien WILK. So Tverin, very close actually, 1.5 tenths of a second off. Fischer is doing quite well to hold these guys off. They are both extremely fast and talented drivers. They both know each other very well, as they have most likely raced each other many a time. Flipping down to Jake Moore, who seems to be pressuring quite a bit, and he overtakes Joshua Barton. Actually, not quite. He had quite an advantage on him, but I think he made a mistake on the exit. So Joshua Barton manages to hold off Jake Moore. Where Jake Moore is looking to get back at him into this corner. He thinks about it and decides it's wisest to not go for it. Joshua Barton makes a mistake going wide, and pinches Jake Moore a little bit, but ends up opening up, and that gives Jake Moore the opportunity to challenge him on this straight. And before the corner even comes, Jake Moore is fully ahead of Joshua Barton, being able to take the comfortable normal line around the corner. That is someone spun around. I think that may be Arjona, but I'm not too sure. Yes, it was Arjona in the Porsche. He's now down in 19th place. So that was unfortunate for him. Let's try and get the replay for that. Arjona just getting tagged there, I think, by the Lamborghini. So that's unfortunate for him. Let's hope he can return and come back, just as Jake Moore did in the first race. This is where we left off before. And now we see them in the same positions. If we look back up to the top of the field, the top three are now only spread by 0.7 of a second. And Tverin makes a little mistake there. However, Edmondson does not take advantage of it because he is too far back to do so, presumably. And we see the three of them going single file into the sweeping left-hander just before the chicane. None of them making any mistakes whatsoever. So an impressive performance from them. So no major position changes or battle. Amundsen going a little bit wide on the exit curb there, clipping a little bit of the grass, and it's getting slightly worse exit. Currently we see Philip Varley looking to attack Sandberg. He looks to the inside, but decides it is best to not attack him. So RWB Godzilla currently 2.5 tenths ahead, or sorry, behind Phil Varley. Now that gap has increased to almost a second. Flip down to Damien WILK, following closely behind Samuel Kruger. So that is not Damien, that is Simon Trebek. Simon Trebek is the one behind Kruger. And as we look around the field on the time board, you can see that Kurt Fischer is still being pressured quite closely by Tverin, especially close on the entry to that corner. However, on the exit, they are still once again about 0.3 apart. Tverin is just going to keep on trying to get past Fischer, and so far he has not been able to, but with the pressure he's putting on, I'm sure he will soon. That of course depends on Fischer's defensive performance. He seems to have, or he has been succeeding thus far. He overtook Tverin on the first corner of the first lap and has held him back since. So he has displayed quite a nice performance. So Phil Varley in the McLaren being followed by Godzilla in the number 34 Nissan. Got around 11 minutes left of the race. And we see Jake Moore looking to pressurize Damien WILK. Jake Moore getting quite close. but not close enough to challenge through the S's. Flip up. Kurt Fischer still holding back Tverin. However, they're very, very close this time around. But after they finish the hairpin, they are back to the 2 car lengths we've seen previously. And into the sweeping left-hander they go. Tverin looking for a strong exit to be able to challenge. However, it doesn't seem that he has been able to. So Tverin following closely behind. 10 minutes and 4 seconds left in the session. So Tverin will start to get a little bit more energetic, let's say, about making the move. As the time runs out and the clock ticks till 0, Tverin will be itching for that first place position. It's a little bit of dirt caught by Fischer. Not any major mistakes by these two, which is mighty, mighty impressive, especially at a track like Suzuka. Looking at Jake Moore. Side by side with Damien WILK, and finally gets the move done on him. The move he's been looking at doing for the past few laps. Jake Moore up into 10th place. So into the top 10 now. The next person up the road is Damien's teammate, Kruger, in the number 77 Lamborghini. Your top 5 thus far are Fischer in the number 78 Audi, Tverin in the number 58 Aston Martin, Amundsen also not an Aston Martin, the number 72 car, Sandberg in the number 109 Bentley, and Varley in the number 55 McLaren. Your top 5 there. Look back up to Christopher Tverin. We'll use this lapped car that impeded Jake Moore, and he's very, very close, however not close enough. He thinks about diving to the inside of the chicane, but knows better, because that was way too far back to make a move. And keeps the 2nd place. Look to the gap between Kurt Moss and Martin Patter. Martin Patter is actually quite far ahead. Albert Arjona is the one we want to be looking at. And Martin Patter seems to have gone wide and Arjona spins. Arjona has spun at the same corner he was spun on previously. Marshal waving green flags. He assesses that the situation is safe. However, there is a spun car close to the barriers, so I would not assess the situation as safe. Here we flip to RWB Godzilla. Arjona seems to have retired. So RWB Godzilla currently about 1.8 seconds behind the car ahead, Phil Varley. And if we flip to Gert Fischer, he has been overtaken. So if we can maybe catch the replay if we're lucky. May have not caught it soon enough with Arjun spinning, and I have not. So Tverin is now ahead of Fischer, and Tverin's teammate Amundsen will be looking to do the same. So we have 5 minutes and a half left of the race, and it's been exciting so far. Sadly, we missed the overtake of Tverin on Fisher. However, we may now be able to see the overtake by Amundsen on Fisher if it occurs. And just to show you how well Fisher was defending, he was overtaken by Tverin just a lap ago, around this corner, I'd assume, around this area. And Tverin has already pulled a 1.7 second gap to Fisher. So Fisher had done an excellent job of keeping Tverin behind with Tverin's big pace. Right, here we see Amundsen, 1.5 tenths behind Fisher. Quite close, however, he breaks a little deep and runs wide. We're on board with Amundsen, closely following behind Fisher. Into the chicane we go. Very heavy braking zone. So if you are close to the car in front, as in almost alongside them, then it is quite a good spot to overtake. However, the difficulty is that it is very tricky to be alongside the car in front, as the corner before is a very high speed left-hander. So it's hard to follow very closely through that. Fisher has opened a 1.9 second gap to Tverin. He's now looking to lap the Bentley ahead of him. He's being slowed down quite heavily as the Bentley... Oh, and that's contact. That's heavy contact between the Bentley and Fisher. Get a replay. Gert Fisher. So Gert Fisher is looking to lap the Bentley. However, the Bentley does not seem to move out of the way. But Fisher seems to misjudge the situation a little bit, ends up tapping the Bentley. May have some damage from this, and he has lost 2 places because of it, and is now back down into 4th place. Two minutes left of the race, which means we should have around 2 laps left. Dropping back down to Jake Moore, looking to overtake Samuel Kruger. He is now caught up to his target and will be looking to just nip that 9th place position off of Samuel Kruger. Now if we look to Matt Al, Kurt Moss is quite close to him. So the battle for 2nd place is quite close, and the Bentley of Sandberg is looking to pressure Amundsen for that 2nd place position. If all finishes like this, then Aston Martin will have a 1-2. That is a very strong result, and it would show that the Aston Martin is quite a strong car around this track. And Tverin has now opened up a 2.5 almost second gap to Amundsen. And that's Tverin spun. Tverin has spun on the exit of the hairpin, and that moves Amundsen up into the lead, Sandberg into second place, and Fischer back up into the podium positions. Tverin has ended up in 4th position, I believe. So he has lost 4 positions from that spin. It's extremely unlucky. On the last lap as well. It was a very good race run by him. But sadly just got taken away from him at the last moment. We see Anders Amundsen at the final chicane. Fischer goes straight on and takes the lead of the race. I'm sure there will be a penalty for that, but he does cross the line first, with Amundsen in second, but technically first. Sandberg in third. Tverin, with the unfortunate spin at the end there, finishes 4th. However, he may be promoted to the podium positions with Fischer's penalty for cutting the corner. Varley finishes in 5th, Godzilla in 6th, Solberg in 7th, Kruger in 8th, and Mr. Jake Moore finishing in 9th, placed very, very close to Simon Kruger. Almost got him at the very end there, but Kruger manages to stay ahead by 88 milliseconds. AO performing a very solid race, 7th place. Damien WILK has finished 10th, ahead of Hayden in the Bentley, and then Joshua Barton in the McLaren, Sky in the Porsche, the number 1 Porsche, and Xavier Eugeni in the Ferrari. He's pulled up to the side of turn 1 after finishing in 14th. Very exciting race there. Oh, that is a very, very close finish. And Denise just barely finishes ahead of Rossellini. Very, very close finish there. If we can get a replay of that. Two finishing very, very close together. It's a good second race. Your top 3 are Gert Fischer, Amundsen, and Sandberg. Keep in mind that Fischer may be getting a penalty due to cutting the corner, the final corner. However, he did cross the line, finishing first. So we will see how the stewards deal with that. Overall, a very, very good race. And yeah, there is a race on Friday with RWB. My name is Arthur. I will be commentating that one as well, hopefully. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for the compliment, cause. But yeah, all right, it's been great. Thanks a lot, guys, and tune in for the next race. Make sure you're subscribed. All of you watching, press subscribe and click the notification bell. There is a race on Friday, and if you do that, you will be notified when the race starts, and you'll be able to watch it. Once again, I'll be commentating that, and yeah. So here we see the final drag race between Rossellini and Denise. It was very, very, very close finish. So Denise just barely managed to overtake Rossellini at the very end there. It's a very, very good finish.